They started the road trip with a win. And I swear, if you were on any of the social media channels, you would have thought they lost before they even had a chance to finish that game over the weekend. Everyone was calling it a loss. It was like, oh, they have 21 offensive rebounds and they're down. And oh, they have 15 more shots. And yet somehow the Grizzlies are behind. But every single one of those possessions ended up mattering because it was a game with 25 lead changes, 22 ties. Ja Morant was having one of his worst games of the season. Some were calling it one of the worst games of his career. He was on the bench in that fourth quarter looking miserable. He was 3 of 17 from the field going into the final minute. And then what happens? Ja Morant does what superstars do. He won the damn game for this team, starting with the game-tying shot right into the chest of Rudy Gobert, and then the what turned to be game-winning shot, the creativity, the improv, the trust that's just a normal floater for Ja. He was asked about it after. He's like, that's just a floater. And for Ja Morant, it is. For anybody else in the world, that is a degree 1,000 on the difficulty meter. But it was an awesome end for the Grizzlies. They get the win. Obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. had a monster game. Desmond Bane with some big minutes. There were contributions across the board, but that's what superstars do. Not everybody is built to do what Ja Morant did over the weekend. There is good, there is great, and there is superb. And Ja fits in the superb category because when you are having a game as bad as he was, and yet you still have the confidence and the wherewithal to go and take both of those shots and go out there and win it for the team, it's big. And for the Grizzlies, they felt like they desperately needed that game. It's silly to call it a must-win in Minnesota, but given the vibes coming off the Rockets' loss going back into Houston for another game against the Rockets tonight, it's nice to go with a win under the belt.
There are different types of must-wins.
We have a lot of them.
Yeah, if you're the Grizzlies right now, if you're the Grizzlies, Rockets, or Oklahoma City, right? If you're one of those three teams, every game is a must-win because you're trying to get that number 1 overall seed and you're trying to get home court advantage throughout the playoffs. So you can't lose games to bad teams or to good teams if you're trying to get the number 1 overall seed. Also, this was a Grizzlies team, or is a Grizzlies team, who the knock on them right now is, hey, they don't beat good teams. They struggle to beat teams in California, and they struggle to beat good teams. And the Timberwolves, say what you will about them, they might not be the best team in the Western Conference, but that's a solid team. So you need to get those wins so you can show yourself more than anything else. Hey, we can go out there and beat good teams. You can play confidently when you're playing against good teams.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m.